What's going on, guys? Back for another video. Obligatory, this review is not made for kids because of specifically this shirt, but also just to deal with that whole YouTube thing, even though YouTube's not going to come after me. And yeah, we're going to start off with Twin Mill here from the Transformers Hot Wheels collab because he's the first one that I want to talk about of what you're going to see in this next kind of series of videos. And frankly, he's the easiest one to talk to because he's the first one that I fiddled with. But as a preview of what's to come, we've also got Age of the Primes Onyx Prime to talk about. We've got Dr. Wu, their broadside, who I believe is just called Giant Axe or something. And I'll tell a little anecdote about that and how I figured out that he was even a thing in that video. And then we've got Masterpiece Rat Trap to talk about, who I still need to mess around with. And then at some point this week, I'm probably going to be telling Big Bad Toy Store to ship Transformers Transformers Hot Wheels Collaborative, yada yada yada, Bone Shaker, who was honestly the one of these two that I was more excited about. I was expecting him to come off a pre-order sooner than he did, but he's going to come off a pre-order in the next week or so. So that'll probably wrap this medley of videos, which will probably take us until right around Christmas, if I'm being completely honest, and knowing how I pan these out, or spread these out, rather. Anyway, that's more than enough waffling and rambling. Let's talk about Twin Mill. So my autofocus is going to be absolute shit today for whatever reason. Honestly, it's probably distracted by the ceiling fan right there. We're in like the upstairs living room slash nerd room. Our gaming stuff is over there, as you can kind of see. And then my wife's work from home setup when she was working from home is there with our gaming PC. Also like her general PC. And you can kind of see Pabu from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, there in the background. Anyway, you can kind of see Ditto just chilling out there. Anyway, we're back in this room because I feel like it. Anyway, Twin Mill. He is, honestly, because I was the least excited for him compared to him and Bone Shaker in this like mini two-figure line that Hasbro is doing in terms of like, oh, we're going to do a collaboration with Hot Wheels. I do still really like him, if that makes any sense. I just think that they could have, with the deluxe price class budget, they could have done something else with him, if that makes sense. So, I mean, let's get into it, right? So, like, his weapon is basically like the flamethrower exhaust situation. As one falls off and almost goes underneath the bookcase. They do tap on more secure than that. It's just that one's a little loose on my copy. Doesn't fully click on. Because it doesn't. There's a little nub in there that's supposed to rest and it doesn't play. But he comes with an effect part. Well, two, because you can see the other one. It's basically supposed to look like the exhaust coming out of the exhaust pipes. You saw they slot on. Boom shakalaka. We're actually going to go ahead and rotate this piece so that way it's good to go for the alt mode. And yeah, honestly, I do kind of wish that they'd just given us like the one effect part, or just, not given us the effect parts and done something to, make the legs a little bit more cohesive. But that's just me nitpicking. These collaborative figures are never all that amazing to begin with. So yeah, here's the other one again, same deal. Whoop. And honestly, I've just kept these effect parts on Twin Mill because of this video. The minute this video is done, they're going to go in like a bin or something. Anyway, here he is without all the stuff attached. And you know what? I'm going to show the transformation. Shocker, I know. Anyway, we'll do that in a second. Posability first. The head is on a ball joint, as you can kind of see, but he only has a little bit of down, like a smidge down, like it's like it barely goes down, because it's also on like a little, it's also the ball joint itself, you can't really see that in there, but it's also on a plate, and that plate that it's on is what's tilting down. So he can head bob like he's at a good concert. In theory, he could look up, but the way the head is sculpted, he can't, which is kind of annoying. I do like that detailing on the back of the head, though. Shoulders, full 360. Got that at the shoulder as well. Hot rod shoulders, technically, I guess, kind of. You got a bicep swivel. You can go out right there because there's a joint in there that it rotates on. You got a double bend at the elbow due to transformation, and then you got a bend just above the wrist right there due to transformation. Wrist rotation, waist swivel, basically 90-degree bend at the knee. Forward unimpeded, back unimpeded, and you have heel posability, no real toe, a little bit of toe up and toe down, and then ankle tilt, kind of because it's standard out, but also kind of transformation related. So yeah, and honestly, that gives us the segue to my biggest nitpick with this figure, and the same thing that everybody else has been saying. Yeah, you have the leg more than stock still, like that, and hello, hollowness, like you put him in any kind of dynamic pose, and you can just see into his leg. Kind of lazy. I know it's a collaborative figure, they don't put that much budget behind these, comparatively speaking, but that just seems a little bit lazy to me, and you can even kind of see all of that from the backside here. So, honestly, for the price point, I feel like they could have scrapped the effects parts, unless the Hot Wheels team said, hey, we want the effects parts, and just had something in the legs to make that less hollow. But I say that now, and like some third-party company is gonna, or third-party company, some like DNA Designs or accessory company is gonna put out a random accessory kit for Twin Mill here. Because I'm sure somebody's already coming up with one for Bone Shaker too. Anyway, transformation. We rotate. Let's do, we'll do the arms first. So, basically all you're doing is you are collapsing the arms in. So, you want to rotate because you want this part right here to match this on the shoulder, which I love the 80s shoulder pads aesthetic, so on this guy. So you basically just collapse everything. You do want to rotate the wrist, so the wrist is hidden, so you basically want it to look like that when you're folding it in. Boop. So you look like that, pretty much. So that's going to become the front of the car. So we'll do the same thing on this side. Again, you just kind of like collapse everything up the way that the toy wants to go, which can be a little bit fiddly, but it's honestly not that bad. All right, so there we go. And then we'll go ahead and take the chest piece. Want to untab that, bring that down. You want to, there is a panel in here, this darker blue part right there, autofocus, right there. You want to take that and just swing that out. And you want to take just this section, not the actual armature, and rotate it 180, like so. So it kind of looks like that. And then, let's see. I want to rotate the arms like this. So you basically have this going on. And then you can take the front of the car, sandwich it over the head. When he comes out of the box, the head is rotated the other direction, so the face is facing his back, but keep the head as it is for robot modes. That way it's not visible head syndrome when you're transforming him. This is such a goofy review. Anyway, for the legs and the feet, you want to take the foot, fold in the heel spur, rotate the foot 90 degrees towards the inner part of the leg, and you just want to thoop it into the leg. Same thing on the other side. Fold, rotate, thoop. Then you want to take the legs, you want to open up this back panel, just open it up all the way to get it out of the way. And then we're doing the Combiner Wars transformation here. So we're taking the legs and we're just folding them in on themselves. So you want to do that. And then there's a port right there. A little port right there. It's going to go basically right there on either side. So you want to do that. On either side. It's a little bit finicky for me to do on camera. So I'm just going to do it like this. It's a really easy transformation. I just want to clarify. I'm just doing it on camera, or I'm doing it like that because I can. All right, so you've got this happening, right? Close that up. Kind of get everything all squooshed together. And then you want to take the windshield section, bring that all the way down on its armature, like so. You got a tab on the clear plastic on either side. That's going to tab in on either side right here, kind of right by my fingers. Again, sorry for the autofocus. It kind of all schmooshes down, and we're almost there. Come here. You want to take, again, rotate this part if you haven't. So the intake exhaust, I don't know cars, that part's facing towards the front of the vehicle. And then this blue painted part right here is going to slot into a groove on either side, such that the effects part kind of wraps around the rear wheel. And same thing on this side. And there you go. There's Transformers Hot Wheels Collaborative, yada fucking yada, twin mill in his vehicle mode. Honestly, very cool. I really like how this looks. I was personally just more excited for Bone Shaker because he's going to be an honorary Decepticon. He shouldn't be a fucking Autobot, and I'm going to give him a better weapon than the gear shift, like, bonker that he comes with. But yeah, also, Bone Shaker's giving me Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal vibes for any fellow 90s kids out there, or 90s and early aughts kids. So there's your deep cut reference for the week. But yeah, Twin Mill is pretty cool. I like him. He just has that one big flaw that I feel like Hasbro could have corrected, unless the Hot Wheels team wanted to have the effects parts. Anyway, that's enough of my rambling. Thanks for listening to whatever the hell this is and enjoying this 11-minute video. Twin Mill's pretty good. If you see him in Bone Shaker at retail, if they're even at retail, they might just be online. I don't even know. The target by me is incredibly shit when it comes to Transformers. So, I haven't bothered with much retail shopping because the closest Walmart's not the most convenient to get to. Anyway, I'm rambling. Twin Mill's cool. I recommend him. I'll see you guys in the next one.